Hi everyone, I'm Miranda and welcome to my YouTube channel. Sorry that Friday's video is slightly late and going up on Saturday today. I've been a bit under the weather this week, nothing serious, but it was just much better to get this week's video up today instead of Friday. So thank you for your patience and I hope you're all having a wonderful start to the weekend. It's finally sunny here, which I'm happy about because we had snow earlier in the week, but now it's sunny again. And what I thought I would do today is chat to you about some of my recent favourite things. This is going to be a bit of an Easter special because I've been doing a little bit of Easter shopping myself with some cards and decorations and things like that, and I know that you always enjoy hearing about that kind of thing from me. So I'm going to share some more recent favourites with you in this first part of the video, and then I'm going to share a little book haul with you too because I've also had some lovely books that I want to talk to you about. But anyway, first things first, I'll do a little, well, I think I'll start with some stationery because I know how much you love stationery like I do. And one thing that people always ask me about are the sort of notebooks that I use and also my morning and evening routines, what I do. And one thing that I've been doing for years is I use the 5-minute gratitude journal. And I love this journal because journaling is part of my morning and evening routine. I've tried lots of different methods of journaling. I've tried things like writing pages and sort of trying to write lengthier in the mornings or the evenings. And I find that is hard to keep up. You know, I've tried things like the morning pages recommended in the Artist's Way book and things like that. And although I like the idea, I often just fall out of the habit because we're all busy and I find it hard to keep up a particularly lengthy journaling practice. But something I find much easier to stick to is the 5-minute journal. And I've been buying these for myself for years, but I was really excited when Intelligent Change, which is the company behind the 5-minute journal, got in touch and offered to send me one. And I'm actually just about finished my old one. So it was really great timing. And I chose a different colour cover this time. I chose a pink one. And I was so delighted that they got in touch and offered to send me a journal. And I wanted to tell you about it too. There's also a discount code if you're curious. The discount is all capital letters, all one word, I change. I'll put it in the description box down below, so you can always check that out. But on this one, the new one, I can sort of show you the example page inside. So in the mornings, you fill out the lighter part of the page, and then in the evening, you just fill out the darker part. And it really takes maximum sort of 5 minutes, but I find it's a really great thing if you're someone who sometimes struggles to always see the positive, or, you know, you have a bit of a tendency, I know I do, to focus on the negative things. This really helps because it sets out your sort of affirmations in the morning, what you're grateful for. But in the evening, it really makes you consider what went well in the day. And that part always really helps me because sometimes I struggle to remember the things that went well. Which sounds silly, I know, but that can be a struggle for me. And this journal has really helped with that. And I think it really has impacted on my happiness. And it's just something that I find easy to do, easy to keep up. And it's just a nice part of my morning and evening routine. So like I said, I've been buying these myself for years. I was gifted this most recent one. I went with the pink cover this time, but there was also blue and green and yellow and like lots of different colours. I was really tempted to the blue, but in the end I went for pink. But anyway, I really do recommend this journal wholeheartedly. And then I thought I'd share some cards with you. One of my favourite shops is called Closet and Bots. It's a physical shop in Lewes. I think it's in Lewes that it's based. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But they also have an online shop. And I love their range of stationery and homewares, and I picked up some cards from them with Easter in particular in mind, and I thought I'd show a few of them to you. They do a lot of sort of vintage inspired cards. I love this one that just says Easter Day, and it's very, very vintage looking. I thought that was adorable. This one as well with the little row of chicks. I think that's just so sweet. So I picked up that one. They have some of the Margaret Tempest little grey rabbit designs in cards. So I picked up a few of those. I also got a little Beatrix Potter one. Just so Easterish. I think these are just adorable. And then they have some Bramley Hedge cards. So I picked up one of those too, just so spring-like, this one. I really love it with the blossom. And I love Jill Barklam's illustrations. And then I picked up a few, not especially for Easter, but just because I liked them. These are still in their wrappers, because these this sort of thing I use a lot in my photography, as well as sending them to people. And I have been photographing with them, so they're unwrapped. These are still in the shiny wrappers, I'm afraid. You'll know why I got this card. I just love the books, obviously. The girl reading in front of an enormous bookcase is obviously a card I'm going to love. And then another little grey rabbit one that's more summery, but I think is really adorable. And then another vintage card that I thought was very sweet. Do have a look at their stationery, because I really love their cards. I love their homeware, and one of my favorite things to buy from them are their berets. I have a couple to show you. They do these really lovely wool berets in all sorts of different colors. I have the light green one here, and I also got one in navy very recently, and they're so reasonable. They're £9.99 each, which I think is great value. They feel really nice sort of quality, and I love the different colors. There's a whole range, so you can go have a look, and they fit my head fine. I think they're sort of one size fits all, so I find that the size is good for me anyway. And like I said, I think they're just fantastic value, and I love wearing hats and berets. And you know, with snow even just this week, I was sort of in them for a long time in Yorkshire as well, and I just think they're really cute. They add so much to an outfit. And like I was just really thrilled to find some so reasonably priced and in lots of pretty colours. It's like a pink one as well, and a rust colour, and oh, all sorts of colours. So I'll put the link in the description box, but I really recommend checking out all of Closet and Bot's stuff. They have some really lovely things, and lots of different price points as well for different types of little gifts and things like that too. So it's a shop well worth checking out. And then another shop that I wanted to tell you about. This is an online shop, and it's called East End Press. And I love being able to shop from little independent companies when I can. So Closet and Bots is one, and then East End Press is another. And what I've picked up from them is some really lovely Easter egg decorations. If you watched some of my spring videos last year, you'll know that I love decorating an Easter tree and having lots of little Easter decorations. I love Elizabeth Harbour decorations, but I told you all about those in that video. I'll link that video if you want to check it out, but I didn't want to repeat myself in this video. So I'm telling you about some new Easter decorations that I love. And I was so impressed by these eggs from East End Press. They're painted all sorts of different colours. There's quite a big selection. I chose 4 myself. I'll show you all of them. I went for a bit more pinks and slightly more pastel-y colours, I guess. But I just think those are all so pretty. I'll hold them up so you can definitely see. Yeah, just really beautiful. I was so impressed by these, really thrilled to get those. And then also from East End Press, I got this little bird decoration. I'll hold it up, which I just think is just really adorable as well. So I think that will look nice on the Easter tree too. So I was thrilled with those. And oh, this was one more egg that I'd got from them. Let me hold it up. Try and get it to focus. There we go. I love that one actually. It's so pretty. And they're really nice quality. I love the little tassel even on the end. So I was so thrilled to get those. And then I also picked up a few. Oh, I got one more thing from East End Press actually, and that's this little tulip decoration too, which again I just thought was really pretty for spring to go on the Easter tree. So those are all the decorations I got from them. And then I did pick up some Emma Bridgewater little decorated eggs. I got 3 different types of hers. And these are very sweet too. They're different from the lovely sort of wooden painted ornaments of East End Press. These are tin, but what is nice about them, maybe especially if you had children or, you know, guests for Easter or something and you wanted to give these as a gift, because the nice thing is that they can open up and you can put some little mini eggs inside or something inside and have that as an even more exciting ornament to have on the tree. So I thought these were really adorable. And if you want a bigger sized egg, this won't hang on anything, but really cute, again from Emma Bridgewater, and you can fill that with little chocolates or whatever you want and reuse them every year, which I think is so nice as well. So I got a couple of these sized eggs too. So those are the Easter decorations that I've picked up. Now, as I showed you in my video last year, I like to make an Easter tree out of just some branches, like of blossom or pussy willow, that sort of thing, and hang ornaments on the branches. But this year I found this tree much more of an actual tree. It has a stand like this, and it's not too big, but I thought how nice it would be to have this maybe upstairs in my bedroom and to hang a few little decorations on it. It's by Gisela Graham. I love her decorations. I buy a lot of her Christmas ornaments and things like that, and I thought how pretty this little blossom tree is. I have a little decoration that I put inside little bird and egg in a nest. And I can just see myself hanging a few little ornaments on this and having this upstairs in my room. So I was really thrilled to find that in a local shop. But those are the things that I've got lately that I've been really loving and thought you might enjoy as well. So I hope that you found these suggestions useful. And now let me tell you what books I've been getting lately, because I've been really lucky and had some amazing books come in the post. A lot from publishers lately, and then just a few books that I've bought for myself that I wanted to share with you. So let me move this pile over. Okay, so I love the Everyman Pocket Classics series. They do short stories, collections of short stories like this, and this is a new one that is coming out on April 14th, and the publisher sent it to me, which I was absolutely thrilled to get. It's Garden Stories in the Everyman's Pocket Classic series. I love this sort of William Morris style cover, and I love the illustration on the back too. That's so beautiful, isn't it? As you know, one of the themes I'm reading around this spring and into summer is all about gardens and plants. So this collection of garden stories fits that theme really well. I've been looking through this already and it looks great. They're not all short stories. Some of what's in here are actually extracts from longer novels. So there's an extract from Rebecca, for instance, all about the gardens at Manderley. So some are short stories and some are extracts, but they're all related to gardens, obviously. And so far it's making really wonderful reading and such an attractive book to have on my bedside table and dip in and out of for the spring. I'm absolutely thrilled with this. And then Everyman also sent me a couple of their newest poetry collections. You know how much I love poetry, and these ones really had my name on them. So this one is Books and Libraries, a collection of poems that's perfect for any bibliophile, because these are poems that all follow the theme of reading and books and libraries and so on, anything to do with books really. And it's just such a nice collection. And look at that gorgeous cover on the back as well. I mean, definitely a book for any bibliophile. I was absolutely thrilled to get this. This is already out, and so is this poetry book. This is already published as well. That's No Place Like Home. So poems that celebrate the home, and I'm such a home buddy, so this collection really had my name on it as well. And I love these poetry books. I love dipping in and out of them, and I was so thrilled to have another two to add to my collection. And then I was absolutely delighted when the British Library sent me some of their new releases. So I was sent this one, Death of a Bookseller, and this is part of the British Library Crime Classics series, and it's very special because this one has been published to celebrate the 100th title in this series. So it's got the lovely gold spine, and is just a really gorgeous book. And it sounds really good. I mean, again, another great read for a bookworm. It says, when Sergeant Wigan stops to escort a swaying reveller home at the end of his late shift, he has spun a tale of the ups and downs of a life spent collecting and selling rare books. So I love sort of biblio mysteries, or whatever they're called, the sort of golden age style crime, but bringing in a bookshop and books, rare books in particular. I can't wait to read this. I'm sure I'm going to really enjoy it. And then I was so delighted as well because the British Library sent me two of the latest titles in the British Library Women Writers series. So this is Strange Journey by Maud Cairns, yeah, and Keeping Up Appearances by Rose Macaulay. Absolutely delighted to get both of them. I've started this one. It shows that I've not been myself this week because I've not even finished this very slim book yet, which I started last weekend, and that is so unlike me, but I've almost finished it and I've been really enjoying it. It was just actually what I was in the mood for, even though I couldn't read like an awful lot this week. I have been enjoying picking this up because it's just a bit of a lighter book. It's a premise that's quite ahead of its time, I think. It's about more of a middle class to lower middle class woman who is a housewife, but she gets rather exhausted looking after her husband and children and all of the sort of daily grind of housework that she has to do. And one September day, she is standing at her gate and she looks down the road and she sees this beautiful Rolls Royce driving by, and she wishes how much she could just exchange places with the woman in this car and sort of be driven off to luxury. And then later that evening, she suddenly comes over faint and finds that her mind has switched bodies and she is now in the body of Lady Elizabeth, the woman who was in this Rolls Royce. And so the main character, Polly, gets this perspective of what it's like to live in the upper echelons of society. I think this was set in about the 1930s, and it's really funny, as well as having a lot to say about class and social structure in Britain at that time. But the changes happen completely randomly. Polly seems to have no sort of control over it, and this can put her, as you can imagine, in extremely awkward situations. Also, when she's in Lady Elizabeth's body, Lady Elizabeth is in Polly's body, and sort of causing havoc at home for Polly whenever she sort of does return to herself. So it's a really funny book, and I'm so enjoying it so far. I can't wait to finish it, and I highly recommend it if you're in the mood for something a bit lighter, but that still is really interesting. Then I so recommend picking this up. It really is a gem, one of my favourites so far from the British Library of Women Writers series. So yeah, I'm so enjoying that. And then this is one I really do want to read as well. It sounds very interesting. Again, it's about two women from very different backgrounds, but they're living in the same flat together. They both want to be writers, and they both fall in love with the same man. So I'm really curious to read more of Rose Macaulay's work. She seems to be having a bit of a moment lately. A lot of publishers bringing her out. So I'm curious to read this and looking forward to getting to it. And then I was so delighted that the wonderful independent publisher, Slightly Fox, sent me a lovely surprise. Two of their Rosemary Sutcliffe novels for children, Sword Song and The Shield Ring. So Slightly Foxed saw my last video actually, in which I was also talking about some recent favourite things, and in that video I'd picked up a second-hand Rosemary Sutcliffe book that I was thrilled to find, and they sent me a lovely note saying you might want to check out the Slightly Cub editions, which are their children's books of the Rosemary Sutcliffe books that we have, and they were so kind to send me two of them, and I think they're beautiful. I've actually ordered the first one in the series myself now. It's a very loose series. I think it doesn't really matter if you read them in order, but I can see myself wanting to get all of the Slightly Foxed editions of these now. So it was so kind of them to send me a couple, but now I've bought myself one, and I'm sure I'll be buying others too. What I really like about these is, I mean, they're beautifully done. Of course, Slightly Fox always did a lovely cloth-bound finish to their books, and they're just so nice to read and hold. These are bigger than the usual Slightly Fox size. They have nice end papers. But what I really like is they include the original illustrations by C. Walter Hodges. So I'm so happy that they have those. He illustrated The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Goudge and quite a few Rosemary Sutcliffe books as well, and I really love his illustrations. So part of why I wanted the vintage editions was I wanted the original illustrations, and the fact that Slightly Fox have included those in their books I really like. So I'm sure I'll be getting more of these. And then I just got this book today, which is The Garden Apothecary by Becky Cole. And I was sent this by the publisher too. I think it's coming out this month, April. And I was so delighted to get this because I've been following Becky on Instagram. She also has a YouTube channel, and she and her husband own this amazing looking farm in Ireland. And Becky's great at sharing a lot of natural recipes for things like skincare and herbal teas, and she's included a lot of those in this book. It looks lovely. So there are recipes like pine and ginger winter tea, which sounds really good. but also things for lemon balm for the lips, for instance, which that sounds really fun to try. Lavender deodorant, so lots of sort of natural skincare and body products. And then she also shares information on individual plants and herbs, how to use them, how to identify them, tips on harvesting them, things like that. I know that Becky does quite a lot of foraging, so I'm sure there are lots of tips in here on how to find some of these plants in the wild as well, how to forage for them. And I'm really looking forward to looking through this a lot more later. There's some lovely photographs as well. So I'm so thrilled to have been sent that. And yeah, I can't wait to read it. And then I thought I would share some books that I've bought myself recently. So those were ones I was sent by publishers, but I've been getting some books I wanted to share with you. So this is one that I bought myself. It's part of a series of books published by Eider Down Press, all about female artists. And this one highlights the artist Eileen Mayo, and she was actually a model for other female artists I really admire, like Laura Knight and Dod Proctor. But she went from being an artist model to becoming an artist in her own right, and I know that Laura Knight, for instance, really supported Eileen Mayo in her desire to become an artist. And I'd really just like to learn a bit more about her life. So I love these little biographies published by Eider Down Books. I just think that they're really nicely done, and I'm glad to add one more to my collection. And then I had this book on pre-order and it just arrived. It's Firebird, a Bloomsbury love story by Susan Sellers. And you know my fascination for sort of all things Bloomsbury, and this sounded like a really good book to add to the mix. It says, it is the winter of 1921 and Diaghilev's Ballet Russe launch a flamboyant new production at London's Alhambra Theatre. Maynard Keynes is in the audience, although he has always considered the legendary Lydia Lopukova a rotten dancer. Tonight, however, her performance moves him, and when the ballet closes in financial disaster, leaving its cast penniless, he invites Lydia to move into his Bloomsbury home. No strangers to scandalous liaisons, Maynard's Bloomsbury friends are intrigued to find the resolutely homosexual Maynard falling for a woman. As Virginia writes to her sister Vanessa, everything they value risks being ruined by this parakeet. Maynard must be rescued. I never realized how much they disliked her, how much Virginia and Vanessa disliked her. But I'm really intrigued to read this sort of fictionalized account of this real relationship. I have the non-fiction book, A Bloomsbury Ballerina, which covers the same topic, but I'm curious to read this fictionalized version. And Susan Sellers has written another book about the Bloomsbury group called Vanessa and Virginia, which I haven't read, but I've heard that it is really good. So I'd like to read that one too at some point, but I was also intrigued to read her latest book. And I love ballet, so I've always been interested to read more about ballet at that time in London, and how it stretched out into the sort of wider creative groups and the Bloomsbury group in particular at that time. So I think I'll find that really interesting. And then two special books I got for myself. This one I've been wanting for ages. It's the folio edition of Crooked House by Agatha Christie. I think it is stunning. I'm a huge Agatha Christie fan. I mean, I love Golden Age crime, and so it really is wonderful when I can get some beautiful editions of her books. these two, so I got Crooked House, and then I got, it's just been released, Sparkling Cyanide, that's right, which also has a very dramatic cover. So both of these aren't any of her kind of particular detectives, like they're not Poirot, they're not Miss Marple, they're not Tommy and Tuppence, they're sort of standalone ones. But I think they're really good. I really enjoy both of these. So I'm looking forward to reading them again, actually. Sparkling Cyanide in particular, I remember as having a really great twist to it. So I'm looking forward to reading both of these very much. I always enjoy rereading Agatha Christie, and I love the illustrations in them as well. It's so wonderful to get beautifully illustrated books, and I think that they're really wonderful. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have added these two new folio books to my collection. But anyway, that's it for the book haul as well today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if any of the things that I've shared with you appeal to you, or let me know what you've been buying lately, whether it's books or stationery or Easter decorations. I'd love to know your recommendations too. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face that pops up on the screen. But I'll see you again next Friday. Goodbye.